Hey, everybody. It is week one. It is official week one of Art Biz Boss 6 weeks to becoming an exhibiting expert. Yay, congratulations. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. Today we are talking about things you need to know before you even think about exhibiting and your artist statement and your artist bio. I know we've talked some about this in the free group, but there's a lot more that goes into it, and I've got some downloads for you as well. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to look at this. Okay, so things you need to know about yourself and your work before you even think about exhibiting. Guys, the art world is a tough world, and there's a lot that goes into it. And people are going to ask you questions along the way. You're pretty much always being grilled about your art. So why do you make art? Guys, this is huge. Why do you specifically make art? This is something you need to spend time journaling about. If you haven't already, you need to buy a journal and start journaling daily. Daily. And this is huge for your mindset, guys. You need to have a map. You need to be able to see where you've been to figure out where you're going. And journaling is a huge help with all of that. So, journal about why you make art. What's your message? What is your overall message with your art? I know each piece or each series might have a different message, but there's got to be some reason, some inner calling that you have to make art in order to accomplish something, a feeling, sharing, expressing. Okay, what is it that you're trying to express and why? Okay, why do you work in your medium instead of a different one? Why are you a painter? Why aren't you a photographer? Okay, why do you use acrylics? Why don't you use oils? Why don't you use oil pastels? Why don't you draw? Why do you draw? Why did you pick that medium? Yes, some of us use more than one medium, but we generally have a favorite, okay? And there's some sort of reason, and you need to be able to articulate that, okay? People are going to ask you this. What made you become an artist? Was there a specific event that happened in your life? For me, it was my grandma handing me her film camera. That was it. That was, I fell in love right then and there. What was it for you? What made you realize you wanted to be an artist? Was there a specific event and a specific feeling? So, what historical art movements have influenced your art? Guys, pick up an art history book, please. If you're self-taught, you may not know a lot about art history. If you went to an art school, you probably took at least 1 or 2 or 3 art history classes. It's not really enough to just call yourself contemporary, okay? That doesn't really cut it. There's something else there. And if your stuff is so incredibly fresh, there's still somebody who's doing something similar concurrently with you. So, throughout history, what movements have influenced your art, or does your art reflect a style of artists that came before you? Me in particular, a lot of people have always told me that my work reminds them of Nan Golden, which if you look her up, she's a photographer, a famous photographer, or Cindy Sherman. Okay, and that one was interesting because she studied and worked in my hometown. I don't think she was from there. She was from a different town in New York. Okay, but you need to know this about yourself and about your work. Because if you can't connect these dots, somebody else is going to do it for you, and you're going to be sort of standing there feeling a fool because you may not even know who that person is. But you can use it as a learning opportunity to learn more about your own work and discover an artist that came before you. So you personally, what artist or movement influenced you personally? Like, who's your favorite artist? Okay. People are going to want to know these things. They're going to want to know, is your favorite artist a big influence on you, or is it totally different than your work? That might help you really figure out some things about yourself as well. If you really like this one kind of art, but you make a different kind of art, why might that be? That's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but why might that be? Okay. So those are some types of things that you need to know about yourself before you even think about exhibiting, because when you put yourself out there for the world to see your art, they expect that you should be able to answer some of these questions, okay? When you can't articulate these things, that's where you run into trouble with credibility and people really wondering, you know, if you have any sort of background in this. Your art might be really, really cool, but if you can't necessarily speak clearly about your art, it's going to be really hard to get into those upper level galleries or into juried shows. You might be able to get group shows all day long if you're just like, well, I just make it and it's cool. But if you want to get into these higher level, you know, into museum shows and whatnot, you need to be able to answer these questions quickly. Okay. This stuff needs to be pretty ingrained. All right. So here's another thing about the art world. Okay. Be prepared for rejection. The art world is really, really tough, guys. Someone is always looking to criticize. Someone is always looking to pick you apart. Okay. If your work is underdeveloped at a show, they will know. The viewers will know, the critics will know, the collectors will know. You need to be putting your best work forward for every single show always, okay? If you're not confident in a piece, do not hang it on the wall. You have to have thick skin, okay? People are going to tell you exactly what they think about your art and about you as an artist, okay? And that's not always going to be pretty. So just be prepared for that, okay? Just because you don't make it into one juried show does not mean you should quit. And just because one critic might have something not so great to say about your work does not mean that you should quit, okay? All of those are opportunities for improvement. So keep that in mind. Are you comfortable talking about your art? Are you comfortable with other people talking about and asking you about your art? Are you comfortable taking criticism? Guys, if you're not comfortable taking criticism, that's going to hold you back a lot, okay? You are going to have to get over that, whether it's through journaling or through maybe role playing with a friend or a colleague. You need to be able to get through somebody criticizing your work. So anytime I am critiquing somebody's work, I generally start with everything that I like about it, and then I'll move into the areas where I think improvements could be made. All right. Because there's almost never just a total pile of crap artwork. If it was a pile of crap, hopefully you're not ever putting it on a wall anyway, and you would have thrown it out and started over. So you need to be comfortable criticizing your own work. You need to be comfortable criticizing other people's work, and you need to be comfortable with other people criticizing your work, okay? It's a major, major part of the art world is critique. All right. Yeah, so if you consider yourself a shy person, you need to really figure out how you're going to get through your opening, because you need to be able to speak. Maybe you need to take a public speaking class. Maybe you need to force yourself, even if you're shy, to walk around the room and say hello to every single person and at least have a 30-second conversation with them. Thank them for coming. Thank them for coming to your show. Okay? You'd be surprised what kind of conversation sparks up. So, also, for those of you that are hoping to either organize shows or curate shows, please, please, please make sure that you have at least, 5 shows or so under your belt before you start trying to organize other shows. There is so much that goes into it, as far as knowing how to hang, knowing how to market, knowing how to choose artists and artworks that are going to be congruent with each other and bring a show together, okay, and work well together. So please, let's leave that to the people that have been around the block at least a little bit. After all, this particular course is about exhibiting rather than really organizing or curating larger shows. All right, let's talk about your artist statement. You guys are going to get this as a download, which is great. So this is regarding a general overall artist statement regarding your whole body of work. All right. Some things to remember here. It should be written in the first person. So it's written by you in your own voice. So I, blah, 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 me, blah, blah, blah. And it should be written with a specific audience in mind, okay? So you should be writing to the people that are viewing the art, okay? Who's viewing the art? In general, it's going to be people who like to view art, or it's going to be art collectors. What it's not is generally your high school buddies or your redneck uncle or anybody like that. So please speak to a specific audience. Also, you should be using specific sentences that describe you and your art, not art in general, okay? People already know about art. They don't care about other people's art. They want to know about your art and your practice and who you are as an artist. So you are writing about you. And this should be about 1 page long. So here's what should be in it. Paragraph 1, the why. Okay, remember this is a statement about your art. So it's a couple of sentences about your personal relationship with art and why you've chosen to become an artist. Guys, I made you journal about it up here. I made you journal about it already. You already know the answer. You already know the answer because I made you think about it, okay? You have to think about this stuff. You have to write through it, okay? Because you need to actually write it out down here. Statements about your personal relationship with art, okay? Why you've chosen to become an artist. Was it your elementary school art teacher that was just so cool and taught you all sorts of awesome art things? Or was it because you came from, an oppressed neighborhood and it was your only way out and it was the only thing that kept you off drugs? Whatever it is, let's hear about it. Paragraph 2, the what. What medium do you use? Okay, you'd be surprised how many people leave this out. I want to know exactly what kind of art you make. As in, I paint on canvas with acrylic paint, okay? Not, I'm an image maker in the 2-dimensional plane. No, I want to know what kind of art you make, okay? The how, a description of your current work. Current work. I don't really want to know about the stuff that you made 15 years ago when you were 9 years old. I do want to know about probably the last, 5 or 7 years of your work. If there was like a huge schism somewhere, then, you used to make art like this, but now you make art like this. I want to know about your current work. Unless this old work somehow directly correlates to this newer work. All right. Why did you choose to make it the way that you did? Okay. Why did you choose to make that beautiful painting in this particular palette? Why did you choose to you know the answer to this. I don't know the answer to this. Okay, what's it mean to you? And what do you hope it means to other people? All right, guys, let's go back to this. Your messaging. What's your message? What's your overall message? All right. So that is your medium. What tools do you use? Okay, that's paragraph 2. Current work. Why did you make it the way you did? What do you hope it teaches other people? Okay, here's what you should avoid in your artist statement. All right, try not to use a bunch of frou-frou language that's trying to make you seem smarter, okay? Nobody cares. We want clear, concise statements about your art, okay? This is not for you to look like some English professor that has a master's in art theory. This is not what this is about. No. You have to be able to clearly and concisely write out what your artwork is about, why you make it the way you make it, and why you're an artist, okay? Avoid a bunch of cliches. All right, just be really, really clear and specific. Okay, even if it sounds kind of boring, you can always go back and add more, but don't start with more. Start with less. All right. Do not pretend that your art ranges across the expanse of all that exists. No. It does not range from drawing to sculpture to video to artist books. You may draw and you may make sculptures and you may also make videos and you may also make artist books, and that's fine, but just list it that way. Okay. It does not span the range of the blue spectrum to the red spectrum. You use blues and you use reds. If you're going to throw in some art theory, it better be there for a reason. It should only be there if it directly influences your daily practice, okay? Your daily art practice. This actually isn't a lot of us, all right? We need to know about art theory, so get yourself some books on art history and on art theory. But leave it out of your artist statement. And again, do not generalize, okay? I like nature. No. Why do you like nature? What is it specifically about nature that is influencing your work, okay? If I take a picture of a spiral tendon on a vine, okay? Why did I do that? Why? What drew me specifically to that form, that shape, okay? There's got to be something about it, and you need to be able to articulate it. All right. This is exactly how you write an artist statement. So this week, you will have to write this out. And I would love to see it, and I would love to go over it with you. The other thing you need to have done is your artist bio. Okay. Now, things to remember here. This is not written by you. You're going to write it, but it's not supposed to sound written by you. It's supposed to sound as if somebody wrote it about you. All right. Paragraph 1, your name, where you were born, year you were born. People want to know where you came from. They want to know how old you are. Was there something specific about this geographic region that influenced your work? Okay. If not, that's fine. Just leave it out. Did your socioeconomic status influence your work? If not, leave it out. Okay. What year did you start practicing regularly? Don't say, I've been doing it for 15 years. Just say, I started in 2005. Because then you don't have to keep changing it. Okay. Paragraph 2, your education. Okay. If you're self-taught, that's fine. Say so. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, but people want to know how you learned how to do this. Okay. What was the path that you followed? Okay. Were you really heavily involved in high school art classes, or did you not start until college? And did you go on for a master's? What exactly was your educational path for art? Okay. How did you start making art? Again, was there a specific event? Guys, you got to journal this stuff out. It's really important. This is the stuff you need to know about yourself. Okay. Just because you might think that you know this stuff, but then when someone actually asks you, you're like, oh man, I don't know. And you freeze. You need to be able to write this stuff out, recite it back to yourself, and you need to be able to do it on the fly because people are going to ask you these questions, okay? Where did you go to college or vocational school? Name the place. People want to know. Do you have plans to continue your education or not? Paragraph 3, your notable accomplishments. This doesn't have to be your entire exhibitions list, but you know, have you done juried shows and group shows and solo shows? Say so. And festivals and this and that? Say so in a clear and concise statement. Did you win any awards? Definitely list those. Have you been published? List out the most notable publication. And if there was multiples, just say, and many more, or something along those lines. What are your overarching goals for the future? Okay. Think about that. Andrea Cox would like to go on to show at museums, you know, whatever it is. That's a great way to finish up your bio. Again, this is supposed to sound like it's written by somebody other than you. And please, only about half a page here. It is not crazy long. Nope. In fact, your artist statement should be about 1 page and your artist bio should be about half a page. Okay. So guys, you're going to have this as 2 separate downloads here. The artist statement outline and the artist bio outline. So this is your assignment for the week. We are going to go over this stuff on Friday. So I'd love to see your finished statement and your finished bio. Please keep in mind you are making a general statement about your overarching body of work. Once you have this built, you can then use it. You can then change it up for specific pieces or a specific series or for a specific entry, you know, submission to a gallery or something along those lines. So that is week 1, guys. That is what we got going on. I am so looking forward to seeing you on Friday morning. So see you then. All right, stay tuned for week 2 next Wednesday. Bye.